Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning. Many countries around the world are affected by trafficking in human beings, whether as countries of origin, transit, destination, or very commonly all of three. People are rendered vulnerable to trafficking in human beings due to various factors such as poverty, armed conflict, and gender-based violence. Trafficking in human beings is both an international and a domestic crime here in St. Kitts and Nevis. 77% of victims assisted by the International Organization for Migration from 2014 to 2016 were trafficked across borders. Significantly, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime found that 77% of identified victims were trafficked within the region of their country of origin. Specifically, 83% of identified victims in Central America and the Caribbean were trafficked within that region. Increasingly, gender has been recognized as an important factor related to trafficking in human beings, as well as critical element in the provision of services for victims of diverse gender identities. According to UNODC, 79% of all detected victims are women and children. Women and girls constitute the majority of identified victims trafficked for sexual exploitation, sham or forced marriages, or begging and domestic servitude. The ACP EU Migration Action Programme offered technical assistance to ACP countries along the lines of the ACP EU Dialogue recommendations on trafficking in human beings and smuggling of migrants to effectively address these and other current challenges in tackling trafficking in human beings and smuggling of migrants, and support opportunities for dialogue and coordination between stakeholders and policymakers. As an ACP and IOM member state and signatory to the United Nations Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children, the preliminary protocol, St. Kitts and Nevis has demonstrated its commitment to combat trafficking in human beings with the technical assistance for capacity building and public awareness on countering human trafficking. Today we are here for the curtain call on the technical assistance intervention with a presentation of the final products, being recommendations for the setup, composition, functioning of a national task force on human trafficking in line with the existing Trafficking in Persons Prevention Act 2008 of St. Kitts and Nevis, and recommendations for public awareness and sensitization campaign on human trafficking and importance of counter-trafficking. The report being presented with a recommendation is complementary to other activities already implemented under the technical assistance, being recommendations for the design and function of a database on victims of human trafficking, design and implementation of the database on human trafficking and provision of training on the use of the database that was done yesterday, and develop materials on good practice on human trafficking and conduct training on human trafficking for law enforcement, board authorities, and other government and civil society stakeholders on effective counter-trafficking measures, focusing on prevention and investigation efforts that was conducted in April of this year. While this is the end of the technical assistance, it is not the end of IOM support to St. Kitts and Nevis for additional work ahead on human trafficking and generally on matters of migration management and migration governance. The technical assistance to St. Kitts and Nevis can be seen as part of its fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, notably Target 5.2, that is, and I quote, to eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls in the public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual and other forms of exploitation. Target 8.7, to take immediate and effective measures to eradicate forced labor, end modern slavery and human trafficking, and Target 16.2, to end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against and torture of children. The ACP EU Migration Action Programme and IOM are delighted to have supported St. Kitts and Nevis' endeavor for an island free of human trafficking, and we hope that all products, tools, and training provided will place St. Kitts and Nevis in an advantageous position to combat trafficking in human beings and make your citizens and visitors to the island, such as myself and Laurie, safe. In closing, I wish to extend appreciation and gratitude to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for taking advantage of the technical assistance program, the efforts of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for directly coordinating the technical assistance activities with IREM, notably Ms. K. Bass, Permanent Secretary, and Senior Foreign Affairs Officer, Mr. Burridge, who by now I think should be a Guyanese with all his visits to Georgetown. Stakeholders of government and civil society, many of you gathered here, for your involvement and engagement during the technical assistance. Ms. Laurie Mann, who should by now be a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Mr. Sancho Duncan, for your work and service during the technical assistance intervention. And of course, the European Union that has been a donor to the program and for the good work that has been done during the duration of the program that has come to an end or is come to an end in the Caribbean and in the ACP regions of Africa and the Pacific. For me, it has been a pleasure working with all of you and the work that would have been done in the Caribbean in terms of the program, specifically in this case on human trafficking. So I wish you all the best in moving forward. IREM stand committed to supporting you on the question of human trafficking and other migration matters as it relates to the development of your island. Thank you very much.